Hey ladies, it's Karen. So I haven't done a Facebook live stream in a while, and I want to get back into the habit of doing so. So here's the deal. Last week on Monday, we have Marketing Mondays, or Management Mondays, actually, which is where we plan our marketing strategy for the week. I promised you a goal setting training. And last week was kind of crazy. So I wasn't able to do that. But today I want to give you some specifics, some tips and strategies to set SMART goals. So I don't know if you've seen the acronym SMART, but you might want to grab a pen and a paper so that you can write this down. This is a simple way of setting goals that actually will show results. So there's no point in setting a goal if there aren't any results, or you can't reach your results. You can't get there because you're setting too big of goals or you're not focused enough. So one of the things that I'm always talking to you about is breaking it down, right? Pick one big goal for the week and then break it down into 4 or 5 smaller pieces. So if you take the word SMART and turn it into an acronym, the first letter is an S. So that is for specific. So if you're not clear, you're not specific about what your goal is, what you're trying to attain, what you're trying to reach, then chances are your results are going to be just as ambiguous, right? So we want to make sure that we are very clear on what our goal is. This week, I offered an example around growing your email list. So if I wanted to grow my email list by 100 people, what would I do? Well, I would break that down into how many people do I need each day out of the week? And then what channels would I use to grow my list, right? I'd just keep breaking it down until it was just outlined perfectly clear of what I needed to do so that I would be able to implement each day, right? So super specific on what you want to accomplish. I do want to say that, if you're building out a program, let's say, so it's really feels like a monumental task. I don't want your specific goal for the week to be build that program. I want you to pick the next logical piece of that program, right? And work on that. Break that piece into 4 or 5 action steps for the week, and then you will be able to implement in a fashion that feels doable. Because if you get too big of a goal, then you just get into the overwhelm space, and that's no fun either. I've been there, right? Okay, so let's move on to M, right? So S is specific, M is measurable. Measurable. So in my example, the measurable part of that was I wanted to grow my email list by 100 people this week. I knew what my goal was. I was very clear. It was measurable. I knew that if I take 100, divide by 7, I knew how many I needed to get each week. So in the example of building out a whole program, you may not have a number like that, but you may say, okay, I want to get 2 modules completed this week, or I want to get 2 modules recorded, or 2 modules worth of slides created, right? So they're measurable. You're putting a number, you're attaching something that's measurable to the outcome, right? Okay, I've got my kitty roaming around here. So she's trying to get into my lunch. She's being a stinker butt. So the next one is A. So specific, measurable. Now the A is for attainable. And I'm going to be honest, this is where in the past I've really created conflict for myself because I've set goals that weren't really attainable in the amount of time I was allotting. So with that, it was a constant struggle. I was constantly feeling behind. I was constantly feeling like I was not accomplishing anything because I wasn't using the specific and the attainable, right? Make sure it's attainable. So now I'm very clear at the beginning of the week what I want to accomplish. And then, like I said, I get really clear on each piece that I think I can accomplish during the week. If I don't really feel that that's attainable, then chances are it needs to be a whole separate big item, right? A big goal. If you feel like this one goal is not attainable within a week, then chances are you're probably going to want to break it into pieces to make it attainable. So specific, measurable, attainable. The next one is realistic. Kind of the same thing. My husband and I joke all the time that we always think we can get more done in a week than we really do. And as we get older, we get less and less done, it seems. So the deal is simply be realistic. My life structure and the amount of time that I can dedicate to my business is completely different than yours. So start with what's realistic. You know, I have a private client right now. She can only dedicate a few hours on Saturdays. So she knows coming into Saturday morning, her husband's going to be home. He's going to take the kids. She's going to be really clear and really laser focused on what she's going to work on, right? It's the same with you. Maybe it's 2 hours a day. Maybe it's an hour in the morning and an hour at night. Maybe it's one day a week. Maybe it's only a few hours on the weekend. But be realistic so that you don't always feel like you haven't accomplished anything. Because there's nothing, I guess, that will kill a dream or kill a goal or kill your vision quicker than not ever feeling like you have attained something or that you have actually reached that mini goal. It's terrible when you feel that way. So, and I know because I've done it, right? So just take the time to get real. Get real with what you can do. If you're working full-time in another job and this is a part-time thing on the side, you have to make time for it, sure, but be realistic. Be realistic. You've got to have self-care time. You've got to have time with your family. You've got to take time, downtime. But you also probably, if you're working a full-time job and trying to bring in a business on the side, you're probably going to have to give up some things that you'd like to do in exchange for actually working on your business. So get realistic. And then the last piece of this is T, which is timely. And you see how these all kind of work together. So timely, again, just means that you're focused on the calendar. When does this need to be done, right? I'm all about reverse engineering. So if I'm going to, let's say, create a new program, I'm going to look ahead and think to myself, look at the calendar and say, when do I want this done, right? I'm going to actually look at my marketing calendar first, and I'm going to say, where's the gap in my marketing schedule that I would like to market this new program? Then I know I need to have the program done at least a week, if not 2, in advance. So see how I'm backing this up? And then from there, I'll break it out. How many modules will there be? Well, can I get 1 module done per week, or will it take me 2 weeks? Right? So I'm going to back it up and reverse engineer that to the point that it is all laid out for me. Now, it would be great if this is the only thing you had to do in your business, but we know that there's social media, there's blog writing, there's invoicing, there's customer service problems and things that you have to deal with. There's paying your vendors, paying your staff. There's a lot of moving pieces to a successful business. But I promise you that if you start your day on Monday with a list of mini goals that support a big goal for the week, that at the end of the week, you will be able to check those goals off. You will feel like you've accomplished something, you've attained something, and you will feel like you actually moved forward in your business. And more than the actual actions themselves is the mindset that goes along with that. The mindset that says, hey, I'm doing it, right? I'm making this business work. I'm actually accomplishing things. I'm going to get out there in front of other people. and I'm going to change lives.